microfilaments. Yeah. Monomers are fibrillar in structure. Tetrameric, keratins. Desmosomal junctions, adhesion plaques. Ciliary movement, dynein, ciliary and flagellar motions. Kinesin-bound vesicles, anterograde, fast axonal transport. Dynein-bound vesicles are retrograde. Thick filaments, yeah. Central dogma of molecular biology. DNA makes RNA, which makes protein. Changes for some things like certain viruses. Retrovirus, double helix, nitrogenous bases, purines, pyrimidines. The purines are adenine and guanine. The pyrimidines are thymine and cytosine. Complementary base pairing, chromatin, histone. RNA versus DNA, ribose versus deoxyribose. DNA to RNA to protein. This is boring. Yeah, thymine replaced by uracil. Ribonucleic acid. Transcription, initiation. Promoters. Different RNAs come from the same gene, 5' to 3'. Cytosolic transport. RNA to protein is called translation. I think DNA to RNA is called transcription. Messenger RNA, transfer RNA, ribosomal RNA, yeah. Codons. Yep, okay. Damn. Okay, yep, that's it for that. I'm not going over that anymore. Hi. What do you know? My name is Nicholas too. That's cool. What am I doing? I'm studying for vet school. Right now, I just got done with physiology and histology. Amen. Jesus loves us. Okay, next. Nutrition. Okay. The AAHA Nutritional Assessment Guidelines. Yeah, I don't even... Okay, 5 vital signs: temperature, pulse, respiration, pain assessment, and nutritional assessment. In nutritional assessment, there's body weight, body condition score, muscle condition score, diet history. What is a nutritional assessment? It is a comprehensive assessment of objective and subjective data on an animal's diet, lifestyle, and medical history. What school do I go to? I go to Oklahoma State University. I got this shirt from Goodwill, so there's a lot of shirts like these near OSU. Anyway, nutritional assessment is a 2-part process. Nutritional screening evaluation, no risk factors present. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, body weight. Body weight, in my opinion, is not as important. Body fat is probably more important. Because there's, well, for example, in humans, there are people who are 7 feet tall and people who are 5 feet tall. Seven people who are 7 foot tall are probably going to weigh more than the people who are 5 foot tall. Not because they're fatter, it's just because they've got more bones, got more skin, got more, you know, collagen, all the connective tissue. Anyway, that was a tangent. So it's important to always get a weight, even if the client says they already got one of their pet. Body condition score. 5-point scale versus 9-point scale. The 9-point scale is more accurate, usually, because it's got more increments. Okay, and then, yeah, body condition scoring. Wow, I wish I could show these pictures, but I can't. But man, these are some fat cats and dogs. No offense, but anyway. So the ribs, the waist, and the abdomen are important when trying to figure out a body condition score. Basically, you want to be able to, a general rule is you want to be able to feel their bones, but you don't want to be able to see their bones. And so, I mean, it's kind of hard for that to be, they just don't, usually if that's the case, then they don't have that much subcutaneous fat, which is fat right under the skin. Okay, body fat, okay. Muscle condition, not related to body condition score. Yes, I'm going to be a veterinarian. Muscle condition is not related to body condition score. You can have a very muscly animal that also has a very high body condition score, which means they're fat. You can also have a very lean animal. It's got a lot of muscle and not much fat. And in that case, they might even have a low body condition score. I think it just kind of depends. Because, I mean, so a 5 out of 9 is ideal, right, for body condition score. If I saw a very muscly animal and it was lean, I would say that's ideal. I mean, because there's not really an amount of body fat that, well, okay, how do I say this? If your animal has a lot of muscle and not a lot of fat, that's good. That means they're probably healthy. But if they've got not a lot of muscle and not a lot of fat, that means they're probably hungry, starving. If they've got a lot of fat and a lot of muscle, then you must be feeding them pretty good. And, you know, they probably get some exercise too. But if they've got not a lot of muscle and a lot of fat, that can actually be a problem. Makes it hard to move around, that sort of thing. So if they are fat, they are good or no? Just depends. If they're super obese, then if they're super obese, then no, it's not good. Just like if a human's obese, it's unhealthy. But if they've got, well, okay, so the ideal body fat percentage for a human male is like 12 to 20% body fat or something like that. And so that's not 0% body fat. Some amount of body fat is good. Energy storage. And think about this. If you've got 15% body fat, and let's just say you weigh 100 or okay, sorry. Let's say you weigh 200 pounds and you've got 15% body fat. That means that you have 30 pounds of fat on your body, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That's just how much fat you've got on your body. And so if you were to starve, or if you were to go hungry, aka just go without food, I guess, because those are two different things actually. Starving and going hungry. If you were to go without food, you'd probably make it a long time, months, because you've got, I don't know, 30 pounds of fat worth of calories on you. So that's probably over 80,000 calories on your body. That would last you quite a long time. But there is an optimal amount of fat to have on a body. Anyway, components of a diet history: diet type, amount, and frequency; treat types, amounts, and frequency; table scraps, human foods; food for medication administration, like if you're wrapping a pill in cheese or something like that; food for training, training treats. How long have I been studying to be a vet? Not very long, just about a month now. The semester started in, well, yeah, about exactly a month ago. I think it was August 16th. So, okay, and then dietary supplements, flavored medications, toothpaste. All these things can contribute to an animal's diet. When did I start my channel? Oh, I don't know. It's been a while. Long time ago. For this purpose, when did I start doing it for this purpose? Probably a month ago as well. I just figured, I don't know, maybe people would benefit from learning from this as well, because this is kind of a studying tool for me as well. Thanks for subscribing. Diet history, because what I'm doing is I'm going over my notes. That's why it's good for me. Helps me study. Anyway, these are questions that a veterinarian might ask a client. Who in the household is responsible for feeding the pet? What type of food do you feed? How many times do you feed the pet each day? How do you measure the food? This is a funny one because a lot of people say, oh, I just give a cup of food. A measuring cup, or like an Eskimo Joe's cup, or a thermos, you know what I mean? It's crazy. If you measure the food, how much, or how do you estimate if there's other pets in the household? Other pets can influence feeding behaviors for these animals. What prompts you to give your pet treats? What additional foods like treats and table scraps do you give your pet? These are all things that someone might ask, or a veterinarian might ask a client. Okay, and then there's also risk factors for patients. There's breed. Some breeds of animals are predisposed to other things. Yeah, I don't have any pets either. My parents do, though. We've got a lot of cats. Breed, age. The older an animal is, the more likely that the body functions are starting to break down. Physiological status. A lot of these go hand in hand. Activity level, weight trends, medical conditions. And then on the diet side of nutritional risk factors, we have unconventional diet. Sometimes Could just be feeding a diet that your dog or cat is not used to. You're trained to be an astronaut? That's really cool. That's really cool. I think my brother wanted to be an astronaut. That's awesome. And some other risk factors. A diet might be unsuitable for a species. So hold on, let's go back to unconventional diet. So say a dog all its life has been eating kibble, and then you switch it over just cold turkey to raw meat based diet. While our digestive tract and dogs and cats' digestive tracts are heavily geared toward meat digestion, and they might do fine on that diet, it could be a shock to their system. You've been training for 3 years? That's pretty cool. What school do you go to, if you do? And so if these animals are switched over just impromptu immediately, then they might have digestive upset. They could have, maybe their stomach pH isn't used to pathogens being present on the food, and there might be some on raw meat, especially if it's like, well, especially if you don't know the source. A lot of people are kind of scared of raw chicken and stuff like that, raw pork, and they're not so much scared of raw beef. Why is that? Well, it's probably stigma, it's probably tradition, that sort of thing. But there's also some things like salmonella in chicken. I don't know, it just depends. It'd probably be a better idea to cook the food anyway. MIT, that's really cool. That's really cool. Michigan Institute of Technology, right? No, Minnesota. Oh man, I know it's an institute. Hold on, no, hold on. That is in. Oh. Hold on. I know this. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, right? MIT. I think that's right. Anyway. Complete versus complex. If I'm wrong. Oh, it was Michigan or something? I'm sorry. Complete versus complementary. Composition. Feeding guidelines. Okay, so have you guys ever heard of Gentle Giants dog food? Very interesting brand, geared toward Great Danes. I recommend checking it out. The packaging is very unique, very colorful, very colorful. If you've got epilepsy, don't look at it. I don't know. It's very bright and colorful. Nutritional risk factors. There's other. Okay, Massachusetts. That's really cool. That's a pretty cool school. I've heard about it. Feeding and environmental factors, risk factors, feeding factors, food bowl, multi-pet home, environment quality, and if there's enough space for the pet. Again, some of these, like multi-pet home, some animals just get competitive when they eat. That's just how it goes. Okay, risk factors, snacks, treats, yeah, okay. Altered gastrointestinal function, vomiting, diarrhea, that sort of thing. Medical conditions. Okay. Treats. Okay. Assess the feeding method. Select a food. Reevaluation. How much to feed. How many calories. Calories is kind of a weird. Oh, it's a highly well, not really, but it's kind of a ridiculous topic because a calorie, you can't consume a calorie. A calorie is a unit of heat. Calories are the measurement of heat. And so if I burn a gram of chicken breast versus if I eat a gram of chicken breast, there's different. Yeah, I mean, there's your body doesn't burn foods like they do in laboratories. They burn foods to measure the caloric content of those foods. That's not how our bodies work. We are not combustion engines. We are no, not slightly. We, it's kind of hard. We kind of are combustion engines. There is combustion that goes on in our body, but it's not by fire. It's very, very different. It's by metabolism. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, RER, MER. Yeah, okay. Food. Kibble. Kibble's probably not a good, it's not the best food you could feed your dog. It's a very convenient food though. There's many things to consider when you're feeding your animal. Okay? Kibble, very convenient. You can just put it out in a bowl. Free feed, very convenient. You don't have to, just come back later. It's still there, hasn't disappeared, hasn't rotted away. Well, it might have disappeared if your animal ate it all, but now if you're feeding a different kind of food, and I think I talked about this in a previous video, but wet foods, canned foods, that sort of thing, there's different implications for that. Okay, we're done with nutrition. Okay, self-assessment. Okay, different ways to study. Spaced repetition. This is spacing out studying so that you don't procrastinate. So instead of cramming or studying all in one sitting, which is exhausting, and that's the reason why a lot of people don't study, is because they're like, oh, I'm going to have to spend hours of my time. No, you can just space it out. Spaced repetition. Varying formats can help, like using flashcards or... All right, Nick, see you later. It was good having you here. Thanks for watching. And let's see here. Yeah, spaced repetition is one of the best ways to study, at least in my opinion. Interleaving, I don't know why it's not called interweaving. That makes more sense, because what it is it's bringing different course concepts together and learning based on, oh, how does this course relate to this one, and so forth. Then there's formative assessment. It's basically saying, where am I? Where do I need to be? How am I going to get there? Then there's traffic lights, which, I mean, this is kind of useless in my opinion. You've got green light, I'm good on this topic. Yellow light, I need a little bit of help. Red, I need help on this topic. I mean, just get help if you need help. And then succeed if you're doing well. And then there's elaboration. This is also very helpful for me. It's in the name. Elaborate. Ask why and how. Like if you're learning that cats can't eat the same food as dogs, well, it's good to know that. But why? Well, because they've got taurine requirements. Well, they've got arginine requirements. Arginine's not essential, but a little bit extra wouldn't hurt. As a matter of fact, it would help them. Stuff like that. Okay, this one's done. That was easy. Finally, anatomy. This is the, what is it called? The brachium. It's the front limb of the dog and cat. Axillary artery, subclavian artery. Yes, good. I already took the exam. I'm so behind on these review videos. So a lot of this is kind of just palmar proper digital arteries, palmar common digital arteries. Main channel in dog goes palmar and superficial. Main channel in cat goes dorsal, then deep palmar. And the branches, this is important to know. When you're naming arteries and veins, you name them based on where they go, not patterns, because it can change a lot. They can have multiple arteries in the same area. They can have multiple arteries going to the same muscle, and that would make those arteries the same artery, or named the same way, if that makes sense. Subclavian, brachial, median, radial. Yeah, okay. I don't need to know this anymore. At least not yet. I think I'm going to need to know it for a final exam. Now on the Manus, it's different. There's different naming conventions. First you ask yourself, is the vessel superficial or deep? If it's superficial, it's common digital. If it's deep, then it's metacarpal. If it's in this region, the metacarpal region. Again, if it's superficial, it's common digital. If it's if it's deep, then it's metacarpal. What I mean by deep is like you can't see it on the surface. It's in there, you know. And then you ask yourself, is it an artery, a vein, or a nerve? That changes the naming. And then you ask yourself, which metacarpal is it between? You start from the lowest number. So this is the first digit. There are no metacarpals on the first digit. Then we have, actually I think I'm wrong in saying that. I'm wrong. On cats and dogs, I don't think there are metacarpals on the first digit. But okay, so hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Humans, we have a metacarpal right here. And then this is the proximal phalanx. This is the distal phalanx. Then we have 2, 3, 4, 5. Proximal, 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 proximal. Middle, 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 middle. And then we have distal, 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 distal. Phalanges. So, yeah, you just got to know which one it is and then which one's closer. That's how you name it. Wish I could show these pictures, but I can't really. Veins. We draw blood usually out of the cephalic vein in a dog. It's very accessible. And then there's the median cubital vein. That's the vein we hold off when we're drawing blood. Yeah, in the veterinary clinic. Okay, and then superficial, yep. Okay. External jugular is also another popular spot for blood draws in cats, because cats, their veins are a lot smaller than dogs, expectedly so. There's usually a lot of nerves around some of these veins, however, and so Well, if you do the blood draw wrong, it could really hurt the dog. Like, I'm not saying permanent damage. I'm just saying, they might act like they're really hurt. Because, I mean, how would you feel if you just got a needle stuck in one of your nerves? Probably not very good. Um, if you've ever had a pinched nerve, think that pain times 5, probably. I don't know, times 2. I don't know how painful that is. I've never had that happen to me. But anyway, okay, that's it. That is it for the 28th of August. Thanks for watching. I'm going to make another video here in a couple seconds, probably.